I'm going to address one of the top questions on the mind of every new graduate looking to get into the workforce, or actually looking to get employed. The question is, how do I impress at a job interview? And that's a great question, because the last thing that you would want to do is to go for a job interview. You interview with a panel or an individual, and at the end of the day, you don't stand out. You are just a Me Too person, Not Me Too in terms of gender equality and things, but Me Too in terms of just being blunt, average, and boring. How do you stand out? Very, very simple. Let's get on with it. Now, to have a great, memorable interview, first things first, you have to dress appropriately for the interview. I just can't emphasize that enough. If the work culture there requires very formalized dressing, you have to dress formally, but you have to top it up just a notch. Okay? If the work culture there, it's more of like a dress down culture, like typically like startup environment, you don't have to wear a suit and tie, so that you don't have to look super professional, because the work culture doesn't really encourage that. So you dress casually, but in this case again, you will top it up a notch, okay, so that you are safe. So you have to make sure that you are properly groomed, your dressing, everything is crisp. Even if you're dressing casually, make sure that you're properly ironed up, you've taken a shower, no body odor, that kind of thing. And then you go there with an attitude whereby you are not frowned, you don't have all these kind of mumbled up face or tense face, that kind of thing. You have to be free, be who you are, basically. Have a tint of a smile in your face, be approachable. That's the first one. Then the second thing, which is very important because we want to be memorable, okay, is you are going to have to do your pre-interview research. You're going to have a solid pre-interview research, in the sense that you're going to know the company that you are interviewing with in and out. You can't show up being ignorant about the company. So you're going to know deeply about their products and services. If you can know much about, let's say if they're a public company and they publish their financials in the newspapers or online, you're going to have to know, for instance, their sales numbers. If you're going to be working in a sales team, or if you are applying for a sales position, you have to know their turnover, their profits, their margins, and that kind of thing. And you also have to know about news media items about the organization. Let's say they've gone and donated some amount to charity, or doing some CSR, that is corporate social responsibility work in the community. It will be great to know about all these things. And also, if you would know about their, let's say, executive leadership, the CEO, the chairman, the executive vice presidents, the senior directors, if you know about some of them, go ahead, research them on LinkedIn or similar platforms of that nature, because trust me, most of the people that you're going to be interviewing with, I would say, quote unquote, your competition, most of them would not do this. So let the panel know that you have really researched the company. They will know that this gentleman or this lady is absolutely serious about this position. So that's the second point. Then we move on to the third point. The third point is, to be memorable, facts are great, but story trumps facts. Stories would always trump facts. Just think about it. When the last time you went to church that your pastor just preached and never used a single story? You leave the place, you come back home, you don't remember anything. But on the flip side, if your pastor used some stories, maybe even a personal stories have more sticky effect than any other story. If they use some amazing stories to demonstrate a point, you never forget about them forever, right? Because stories are powerful. So you are going to have to find a way to craft your answers in stories. And I just can't emphasize that enough. So let me just give you an example. So let's say you submitted your CV, and your CV would highlight your job experience, right? And let's say it's a sales position, and you listed on your CV that you achieved maybe 100% sales growth in a space of 2 years in your previous engagement with a different employer. Yes, it is a good thing, and I always recommend. I have other videos that talks about how to actually write a CV, because there's a science to it. And the reason why there's a science to it is that the reason why is this. Since I believe 2006 to the last time that I worked for an organization, early parts of 2015, when I worked with MedAssets in Dallas, Texas, every interview I had the privilege to attend, a job interview, I was selected. Every one of them. So that should tell you something about me. I actually studied this. The interview, there's an art and a science to it. So one of the things that I did is that I crafted my resume or CV in such a way that I dictated the questions that were going to be asked me during the job interview, because I made sure that it was going to be rare for them to ask me any question outside of my resume. And if they were going to ask me a question based on my resume, then I am going to answer it, and answer it very well in the context of a true story, because that would make me memorable. So just getting back to the sales position point that I raised earlier. So let's say you apply for a sales position, right? And you sit there and they ask you, okay, Mr. Isaac or Miss Alice, you indicated that you did X, Y, and Z, or you achieved 100% sales growth in your organization. Tell me a little bit about it, right? So a blunt answer would be, yes, when I when I joined that organization, they had a very poor sales team. There was no sales training and blah, blah, blah. And I came in, and with my help, we were able to achieve 100% sales growth. Yes, it's an answer, but actually it's not an answer, right? So you can put it in this context, and I'm just going to make this up as I record this video. Basically, I've not even thought about it, but you say, oh yes, I was excited to join that organization, and when I went in there, I realized that the company was not very strong in sales. There wasn't a properly structured sales team. The targets were very lousy, and the people in the team were not very motivated. So when I joined, there were 3 of us, and there wasn't any kind of proper sales leadership set in place. So one of the first things that I did was I advocated very strongly for the company to put us on a training program. And this is a training program that I knew worked very well in other organizations, because I took time to research. I even had the opportunity to enjoy some free lessons out of that program. They were doing a free 3-month trial. And in my previous organization, I had the opportunity to join the trial, and it was phenomenal. So I quickly recommended it to my new superiors and showed them the value of that training. Then one of the things that I knew was that if the team is not gelling together, sometimes the motivation is low. So I made sure that in our team, we made sure we got to know ourselves really well. We got to know our likes, our dislikes, what makes us tick as an organization, so that we could work together as a team. And in doing so, gradually it unleashed our potential together with the training. So sales course that would normally take maybe 45 minutes or an hour to do, we trimmed our sales script down to the letter, that now within 15 minutes we were able to close customers. And it was phenomenal. And because the energy in the team was so coherent, we just wanted to come to work. And we practically moved from, a close rate of 6% to a close rate of 25. And that increased our sales from $3,000 a month to $30,000 a month. You get the point. So I just made this up, right? But I'm telling you about how stories are powerful. That you craft your answers in stories, and this is the reason why whenever you are writing your CV must be written in the context whereby you are highlighting your achievements instead of your roles and your responsibilities, which most people do. So you're going to write your CV in terms of what you achieved, even if you didn't work for a for-profit, but you actually even volunteered with an NGO or a church or whatever it is. You craft your experiences based on achievements, and at the interview, you wrap those achievements around powerful stories that are true and honest. And you show a little bit of emotion. Once you do that, you're going to be memorable. Like that pastor who uses their own life story and a thing of comedy, a thing of comedy here and there. Their sermons always stay with their congregants years. So that is the third point. And the final point is, frankly, at the end of the interview, don't forget and don't be shy to ask for the job. Many people never do this because they don't have the courage. There's a difference between asking for the job and sounding desperate. Those two are not equal. Sounding desperate means that you're literally begging for the job. You don't have to beg for the job. You just have to ask for the job. And the truth of the matter is, if you ask for the job in a way that makes you in a way that makes you look confident and makes you it puts you across that this guy actually believes in himself and he believes in what he wants, or she believes in what they want, right? So, and the best way to ask for the job is simply this: oh wow, based on what I know now, after I've interviewed with you, based on what I know now, I thought I knew a bit about your company or your services, but based on what I have come to know now, based on this interview, I have even fallen more in love with this organization than when we started this job. I'm actually excited about maybe X or Y product that you sell. I'm excited about X and Y programs that this organization stands for, right? For instance, one of the companies that I work for, Medasets, in Plano, Texas, actually Dallas, Texas, was an organization that was great to work for because this organization was super caring, not just for the profits, but Medasets and the leadership of the organization at that time was not just about the profits. It was also about the extra things. For instance, the company will give you time you give you time off work to go and help with a charity of your choice. That was great. Sometimes the company will even give you the chance to bring your family to have lunch with you whilst at work. So let's say I've forgotten the exact details, but it was like I think there was a certain part of the week or certain days of the week. I think it was Fridays, where you could bring in your family and they will sit down at the cafeteria and have lunch with you. That was awesome, right? So things like that, assuming you've gotten to know something like that in an interview, you say, wow, knowing what I know now, I think this is the place I want to work with. And I believe that my skill set and my experiences positions me greatly to be of help and to be of solution, or to actually take this company forward, right? And finally, probably this point should have been number one, but I just remembered, so I'll just throw it in there. This is the secret to having a great interview. Do not focus on what you can get. Many people made this mistake. It's about, oh, okay, what kind of salary am I going to get? Oh, what kind of this am I going to get? What kind of package am I going to get? No. The job interview, have this mindset. The job interview is not about you. It is about them. It is about what you bring to the table rather than vice versa. Let it always be like, even if you are desperate for the job, never let it sound as if you are coming in for what you can get. It always has to be about them. Oh, what? I have this experience. I can bring people together. I'm a team player. I have energy around me. So when I get into a sales team or when I'm on a sales call and my team is around me, they can sense, they can feel my energy. I bring energy to the team. Right? And I believe my energy is going to be infectious to the sales team in a very positive way. And I believe I'm so excited about your company and your products and your services and what you have to offer. And I'm just literally dying to bring my skills to the fore to help grow the sales team or to help grow the bottom line of this company. It should always be about them. It's not. It shouldn't be about you. So I think basically these nuggets, if you follow them, you're going to knock the interview off the park, man. Thank you for watching. And there's going to be more content like this. So if you are touched by this or inspired by this, feel free to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. Bye.